His fall from grace is finally complete, stripped of everything, from his titles to his home. It is a remarkable and radical royal downfall.
Andrew has been stripped of his titles and honours, and he has officially been told to move out of Royal Lodge. The home he defended for years is no longer his safe harbour. Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, finds herself caught in the middle. She recently sold her London townhouse, which raises a big question. Was she preparing for this moment? Or did she simply miscalculate the timing of the storm? Did they know a storm was brewing and were making moves to prepare themselves? We're digging into why she kept living with Andrew long after their divorce, where she might go next, and whether this is finally the fork in the road for the Yorks as a unit. If you've been following this saga, you'll want to hear the new breaking details about the eviction notice, the family summit, and the financial mechanics that kept Royal Lodge in Andrew's hands for 2 decades.
Since he was born, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth, brother of the King, has been known as Prince Andrew, but no longer.
It's monumental what the King has done. He has acted almost with the determination of a medieval monarch.
We'll lay out the timeline, follow the money, and test the motives behind Fergie's choices. The headlines are blunt, and to some, shocking. The formal process to remove Andrew's remaining titles and honours has begun, and a notice to vacate Royal Lodge has been served. It marks a clear turning point after years of retreat from royal duties. With the titles gone and living arrangements under scrutiny, the landscape has changed overnight. To understand why this is so explosive, you need to know the background of Royal Lodge. Andrew secured a long-term lease in the early 2000s, paying a token rent, and funded major refurbishments himself.
I mean, to me, I look at that and I think that it's an attention seeker. Do you really think that King Charles is going to stop in his tracks and say,
actually,
yeah, you're going to get the exclusive. Today, it's all about you. So I'm annoyed by that. I think that there were some fair questions shouted at him, but...
The arrangement, a grand mansion, minimal rent, no rush to leave, has always carried tricky optics. With the lease now under fresh pressure and the notice in play, the issue has morphed from private arrangement to public problem. Sarah Ferguson, despite their divorce decades ago, has continued to reside at Royal Lodge with Andrew, long after their children moved on and started their own families. So, why did Sarah Ferguson continue living with Andrew after their divorce? The short answer, a mix of practicality, family dynamics, and lifestyle, it seems. Royal Lodge offered privacy, security, and space to host their children and grandchildren. It also offered a level of status and prestige that a conventional house couldn't match.
It's a much bigger, darker story than just who's going to live where. And if you have read the book written by Andrew Lowney called Entitled, he goes through, he put 4 years of work into this. He's meticulous in his research.
Add the incredible financial advantage of reduced housing costs and the benefit of staying within the Windsor orbit. Everything pointed towards staying put. There's also the reputational piece. After the divorce, Ferguson worked hard to rebuild her image. Books, charity work, media projects. Being based at Windsor gave her a continuity, a stable public identity that made her more royal adjacent than ex-partner in limbo. Some would allege Sarah knew secrets that she held over Andrew and the royal family. Or perhaps they were really in it together. But here's where things get interesting.
As of now, the brother of the king no longer a prince. In a statement, Buckingham Palace announced, His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew.
Sarah Ferguson recently sold a London townhouse she owned. The sale came at a moment when questions around Royal Lodge and Andrew's standing were heating up. On one level, the sale could be viewed as strategic. Liquidity now gives her more options. On another level, the timing invites speculation. Was this a safeguard or a reaction after the fact? Either way, the scene is set. What are the possible next residences? Some ideas include smaller properties on or near the Windsor estate, but those options are likely under intense scrutiny. A more probable route is that Ferguson moves fully into private accommodation, either in London or somewhere quieter outside the capital. With the townhouse sale behind her, she now has flexibility. If she chooses privacy and autonomy, that signals an era of independence. This is the emotional pivot.
In separating his brother Andrew from all elements of title and style that normally people who are born into the royal family keep.
For years, Ferguson has balanced loyalty with pragmatism, sticking with Andrew as a father and former partner, while also pushing her own brand. But now the incentives have shifted. Without titles and with the lease under attack, the benefits of cohabitation fade. If her motive was stability, the calculation now points elsewhere. Staying could mean reputational risk. Leaving could mean liberation. Royal Lodge offered comfort, prestige, and fiscal advantage. Staying beside Andrew long after the divorce had practical benefits. With the titles gone and the property under threat, those benefits shrink. If Ferguson ever needed a moment to define herself on her own terms, this is it. Did she stay for love, loyalty, or lifestyle? If lifestyle, then the equation now changes.
I also think that there's an arena where those questions can be asked and the king can offer his reaction to it.
I'm not sure shouting at an elderly man is a good look,
with
generally.
Cancer.
And it's like people shouting during, the Queen's funeral and shouting at Prince Andrew when he was behind the coffin.
With the eviction notice served, a process now unfolds. The palace and the Crown Estate will negotiate timelines, repairs, and terms for vacating. Andrew likely wants compensation or alternative housing. But after this move, the leverage lies with the institution. For Ferguson, the clock is ticking. She will face a choice: continue the shared address or make her own move. Ferguson's brand has gone through many phases: rediscovered author, charity patron, television figure, continuing royal presence. A clean break from Royal Lodge could give her the reset she needs, positioning herself as a self-made person rather than one defined by a dress. If she chooses it wisely, this could be the most compelling chapter yet.
But he believes that there is a very real possibility that both Fergie and Andrew could end up behind bars. Now, of course, the other book that came out was Virginia Giuffre's book in the last few weeks. That has kind of fueled the whole thing and brought it to a head.
Meanwhile, their daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, are watching. They have their own public lives, their own careers and children. Reports say they were blindsided by how fast things moved. Anything appearing as special treatment will draw public and media scrutiny. Their role now may be quieter. They may recalibrate what the York brand will even mean. Andrew's titles are gone. Royal Lodge is off the table. The practical reasons that kept Sarah Ferguson under that roof have weakened. The optics are fraught. If she now chooses independence, this is the moment to step into it. What should Fergie do now? Move to a private London base and draw a line? Or try to hold an address within the Windsor orbit? Let me know in the comments where you think she will land and why. If you enjoyed this deep dive with the freshest updates, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next.